Hey guys, Rex here. So I am here to encourage, because I felt like impressed to do this today. I think it's important for us to encourage each other with the truth. However, I do realize that this communication is probably going to be simply just enraging to many people who do not have truth as an operating system. You see, like, we are told that when you give wisdom to a fool, they despise wisdom. They go crazy. When you give truth to someone that does not have truth in their operating system, they short circuit and they melt down. So if that's you, just please leave your entertaining commentary below for the rest of us to encourage us further that the contrast as painted and as is being revealed is exactly on point. So, man, there's a lot of talk out there, scary stuff. Yeah, the apocalypse, man. Is apocalypse? What does that word mean, by the way? Apocalypse means the revealing. The revelation is kind of the other word for it, different language, right? The apocalypse is the revealing of stuff that's been like part of the plan. How exactly does it come to flesh out? That's what that means. It's good news for those that are looking forward to the return of the King. And it's very scary news for those that have declared war against the King and have been running around, just like in that old story, The Odyssey. Running around, they think, oh, King Odysseus, he's never going to return. Then he comes, and he comes on stealth mode, and he watches what they've done to his place, what they've done to his family. Did King Odysseus let him have it? You bet he did. There's a lot of other good stories that explain that concept. Look at the return of the king under a Tolkien, right? How do you think Sauron liked it when all that stuff happened, when he finally lost? What part of the story are you in, right? Is this good news or bad news for you? All right. Rex, did you hear about they're building secret camps for us? They're going to put you in there and they're like it's just like this other deal. Let's make memes about it and send them to each other. I know, man. Here's the deal. My God is God. Who's going to do what to me now? If anything happens to me or to those that are his, he wanted them to be in that spot at that time to accomplish and execute his will in that time and place. Okay? Now, he gives us words of direction and instruction to follow, but most of that stuff is connected to how we deal with different challenges. What answer we're going to write down when that test comes. Okay? What are you worried? Like, if your God is God, why are you worried about that? You don't think that's ever happened before in history? That happens all the time. Is it happening right now? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I'm a man. I take care of my family. I'm not gonna volunteer, which is probably what that stuff is gonna turn out to be. People will volunteer to go in there because they did not take care of stuff because they did not understand what was supposed to come to pass one day, right? He tells us that, like, when the wicked set these traps, let's say, all right, they're building all these camps and they got this evil plan, which they've written about. They definitely have. We know what their intent is. They're like sitting there just, we're going to get them in a camp here. Those clowns are going to fall into their own trap. They're going to fall straight into their own bear trap. They set it. As they're setting it, it's going to bite down on their arm. And they're going to be the ones stuck on the snare out in the wilderness, dying of thirst while waiting for someone else to come check the trap. They set. I'm not worried about their traps, bro. Like, I'm not worried about that. They are going to fall into their own traps. We've been told that. What is it? How does it say here? I got this for you. Let destruction come upon him when he does not know it. And let he that hid the trap ensnare himself and let him fall into his own destruction. That's told to us. Not worried about it. No, not worried about it. Rex, what about the elections? You know, like these elections, it's not going to be on the up and up. They controlled it, and they have these guys. And why are we worried about Pharaoh's deal? Why are we worried about, like, the Caesars? Here's one for you. Look, I know you're depending on Egypt, that splintered reed of a staff, which pierces the hand of anyone who leans on it, such as Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and all who depend on him. If you're depending on the politicians of this twisted state of the country we're in now, if you're depending on the politicians, you're leaning on a splintered staff. You ever, like, have a splintered fiberglass pole and it was splintered? Ow! Don't lean on that staff. Who's your God, man? Alpocius Maximus. People are worried about Alpocius Maximus. Did you see that thing, Rex, where, like, they went on the Joe Rogan show and they were talking to the doctor and he knew all the stuff about it, and, like, he was even admitted that they were up to some bad stuff there. And yeah, dude, this is totally the push. This is like one of the big avenues of their attack over here, see? But, like, did you know that sometimes, like, in tactics, like, there's a big thing that happens over here, and you look at that and go, oh my gosh, and then, like, the real deal is coming flanking you from this side, or they get you to run into a certain direction, and when you're running in a certain direction, you jump into the actual trap they have set. They end up stumbling into it more than us. Alpocius Maximus, man. I mean, we've known that one. Dude, this is a road sign, like, whoa, we are really close, man. For those that have not read this part, I'll read it to you. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might sell or buy without their certificate of vaccination identification card. It's that he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let he that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I talk a little bit about one of the possibilities of that. It's just more of an interesting thing, but, like, they will get that deal done. They're working on it, I know. It's good news because, you know why? Because it proves these things are coming to pass as they have been written with precision, just like they were thousands of years ago with Egypt, when Egypt was going to get hammered with the 10 plagues, and all that stuff happened, exactly as it was warned by his prophets. How about Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon, right? Medo-Persia. We got Greece. We got Rome. We've got the new Rome, which is an empire of iron and clay mingled together, the steel reinforced concrete empire at the end of the world that covers the whole earth. Did you know that there's going to be a stone that flies out of heaven to smash that in a million pieces? This is, like, so encouraging. If there was ever a time when he had, like, absolutely no excuse to not know that he is in charge, he's in charge. If you're not his, this will frighten you. If you are his, this will encourage you. We're right on schedule. And, like, I remember my old man telling me this when I was a kid. He's like, son, when you're my age, this stuff will probably happen about then. Pretty sure. Like, whoa, really? And, like, holy Moses. It's awesome. I like it. Good times. Rex, why aren't you scared? My God is God. Created the universe with his word. Matter, space, time, math, chemistry happened immediately with his word. He spoke and the universe came. The universe, uni, single, verse, spoken sentence, single spoken sentence. Let there be, and there it was. My God is God. It's not some fairy tale character out of a cartoon that sits on a cloud. Infinitely beyond that. And it's actually real, too. Rex, that book you have is kind of old, and I read it, I read it, it's kind of stupid, Really? Have you read that are you serious about this? We'll have to talk about that one. Oh, man. Just looking at the letters that are in the book as they're originally written. Three-dimensional characters that have assigned frequencies, numeric values, pictures, concepts. When you rearrange it, all the words, like it gives you like 900 different pictures of what they all mean. Like look at the first word in the scriptures, Bereshit, in the beginning. He tells the end from the beginning. Break it down a little bit, just on one level. We're going to talk about ultimate condensed cryptology, man. Some guy just wrote that in a cave. Like, you're so missing out, man. Like, whoa. Should talk about that one. The Supreme Court, Rex. The Supreme Court's going to boss us around and, like, they might have a bad decision. Dude, the Supreme Court is not any more supreme than a supreme burrito. They're the court of this little tiny section of Babylon. They don't even know that you can't murder babies. How the hell are you going to expect them? Like, why are the Babylonian Supreme Court guys acting like Babylonians, Rex? I don't know. I don't lean on that splintered rod either, bro. My God is God. He is the Supreme Court. For the Lord is our judge and our lawgiver. He's our king. And he will save us. Calm down. Supply chains, Rex. What's going to happen to supply chains? Like, we're not going to have any food, right? First of all, we knew this stuff was happening for thousands of years in advance. It's because he loves us. And if we're called according to his purpose, we would trust him enough to think that what all that stuff he said would eventually happen, means that we know there would be the ultimate economic collapse of the entire world. They're going to cast their gold and silver into the streets. It's going to be worthless. Like when the stuff goes down, talk about an economic collapse where people don't even want to grab on gold bars anymore. It's going to be good news when this twisted... Have you not read, man? I'll read it to you in a second. I'm with it. Economic collapse. You guys worried about economic collapse? All right, I'll read this to you. Ready? Revelation chapter 18. This is actually my channel description. This was when I first created the YouTube channel, when I only did little music videos. Never was going to do anything shooting-wise. I'm like, I shouldn't put that on the computer. Until I realized it was part of one of them fancy, shiny lures that helps to go be a fisher of men a little bit. Oh, bro, geez, oh, he said his thing. If you made it this far in the video, you're probably okay with that. But Revelation chapter 18. This is what we're all about, man. You ready? And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye may not receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much hath she glorified herself, and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow. I shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall utterly be burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls, fine linen, purple and silk, scarlet and thyme wood, and all manner of ivory vessels, and all manner of precious wood, brass, iron, marble, cinnamon, odors, ointments, frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee. Now shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust upon their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, that great city where we were made rich, all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. In 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a millstone, like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatever so craft he be shall be found no more at all in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by their sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and all that were slain upon the earth. What about the economic collapse, Rex? My God is God, so I would rejoice